Clock in, gon' clock in, gon' clock in, clock in. Yeah, it's time to go to work. Top 10. When the hot boys hit the field, this is what we tell them. Listen what we tell them. This is what we tell them. Go to work. Clock in. Yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in. Yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. Gone clock in. They say, defense wins championships. We're here in Dallas. We got a top 10. When the hot boys hit the field, this is what we tell them. Listen what we tell them. This is what we tell them. Go to work. Clock in. Yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in. Yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. Gone clock in. Clock in. Gone clock in. Clock in. Gone clock in. Clock in. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See my defense, they on the field right now. Yeah, my defense, they yelling 3 and now. Yeah, my defense, they don't like your quarterback. So my defense, all trying to get them sacks. With the ball in the air, secondary go to work. Byron Jones, he be there, he be lying, he be lurking. If you get past him, Jeff Heath gon' hurt him. Put the ball down, go ahead and run it. I got a hot front four when they coming. Plus we got the best linebacker duo in the whole NFL. We the hot boys sizzling on fire, come to give your team hell. Clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. Go defense, go defense. Defense, gone, defense.
Thank you for watching West Coast. This is Antoine Woods.
Thanks for watching West Coast. Go Cowboys.
This is Ray Williams. Thank you so much for hanging out with us at Dallas Cowboy Scout.
Appreciate
My
it.
man West Coast in this buck.
Thank you for watching West Coast.
Shout out West Coast Cowboys. You know it's always love over here. Raider, Cowboy, always a Cowboy.
Did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Man, that's good, man. Help you boys stay up, man. Keep that commerce.
You know what I'm talking about? I already know. Hey, but we up on Facebook. I knew we was up, but I didn't want to cut you off. But hey, man, you already know what it is, man. We live on Facebook. What up to you, YouTube? I see y'all over there too. Let's have ourselves a good show, man. I got Boss Cowboy on the line. I appreciate everybody that came out earlier for the early show. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. It be like, we do a show almost every single day, and at 6 o'clock, I'm flying home trying to get back, and I'm like, man, I feel like I ain't doing enough. But we here.
Man, y'all got West Coast feeling guilty, man. Do a show 4 times a day. Tell me, we couldn't come on today.
Yeah, I mean, especially when we play tomorrow, man. So I know it's somebody that probably missed the show, and then they're gonna be like sitting up here like, dang, West Coast ain't really about that Cowboy life. He didn't do a show, but I did do a show this morning.
No, that's true though, man. I got a couple of DMs today, like, man, where you at, man? Where you at? I was like, chilling.
Okay. Let me get this YouTube up real quick for us.
You at, man? Where you at? I was like, somebody said, what y'all think about bringing back 88 back for a punt returner?
All right, so bam. All right, so here we go. So we up. We up on all social media platforms. What's up with you, Facebook? You already know what it is, man. If you usual, say hello. Start sharing, man. I already started my sharing. Let me get this stuff up. All right, bam. So we're gonna start this thing off with the updates. We got some updates. So yo, I already know y'all want to know right out the muscle what's going on with LVE. LVE has what's considered a stinger, which is not a medical term, but he has a stinger and will be out again. I think if you've been paying attention to the show, if you've been doing your job, you've been on your grind, you've been on your serious Cowboy fan out there and cover truth. then you've been watching the show, you've been watching the videos, you already was prepared for this. We already knew. Why? Because we had 3 games in 18 days, and if you miss one, you were probably going to miss 2, and if you missed 2, you were probably going to miss all 3. This is how it worked. Why? Because there were so many games stacked on top of each other. So, I mean, he's going to be out with a stinger. I mean, I ain't going to lie, man. Like, I was a little, I put my video out this morning. It was when I interviewed Matt Thornton from the NFL Network. He's an analyst over there. And it was the draft day. I got blessed. Shout out to Oates and shout out to Stash Man that I got blessed and was able to go to the 18 draft, 17 draft, whichever draft he was drafted in. Him and Connor. And I was actually on the draft floor. I was there, you know what I'm saying, in the building when he got drafted. And it's like after that, the first thing I wanted to know, actually, I take that back. I was outside with Mike Zappi when he got drafted. The next day, I was in it because I remember I walked out. So then the next day, I was in there with Connor Williams was in there. So long story short, my biggest concern when he got drafted was his neck, man, because, a neck is not like a hand or a hamstring. It's not even like an ACL. You want to know why? Because you got 2 ACLs. You know what I'm saying? I just seen people get a tear on this ACL and then they mess up the other MCL. You know what I'm saying? On the other leg. But you only got 1 neck. You know what I'm saying? And that did kind of scare me. You know what I'm saying? But he got through the year 1. Everything was fine. But you also got to remember, he didn't play a full 16 games year 1 either. You want to know why? Because he didn't even really start his first game until week 4. You know what I'm saying? So, maybe us with the expectation of him playing a full season shouldn't have been even something that we should have been maybe even expecting. I don't know. But he is out, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If he's not, it makes kind of sense, boss, because you got to remember after tomorrow we're gonna have 10 days off before we play again. So if you're gonna try to bring him back, my hope is that he can get back after these 10 days and be back for the Rams game, the game that West Coast is there. Because then, man, that would have been almost, 4 games he would miss, almost a month. If you missing a month, man, then that's more than just a stinger, bro. Like, let's just be real. People don't miss, guys have surgeries and they're out a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that ain't no.
That's they not you
stinger.
That's not no stinger.
Because a stinger's almost like no, man. Usually you try to shake a stinger that same game. Literally, like when it's a stinger, man, you come back from that pretty quick, So, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer guy the day before the game, but that's a very, very bad sign because, like we said the other day, the fact that you was in the league with this big old neck brace,
you the only person in the league that wear that thing.
You the only person in the league with that. Like it was like flashing right in our eyes, and we still was just kind of like pushing past the announcement that happened in draft week, which was that he had a neck issue and it was a concern and was going to drop his draft stock. That's what came out. But then afterwards, we all forgot about it because they, said it was nothing wrong. He said it was nothing wrong. But obviously it was something wrong, at some point. So I'm sure they checked him out. I'm sure that he passed their test. But at the same time, for him to be out this long again with the same injury that he's alleged to have suffered while he was at Boise State is serious because it's also, to me, a little bit more than having 1 neck. Like having.
No, it ain't it ain't more serious than only having 1 neck because you.
No, I'm saying it from the standpoint when you're dealing with a neck, you're dealing with somebody's like career.
Oh yeah, man, you dealing.
That's what I mean.
Career, you dealing with somebody's walking ability.
Yeah, walking life.
Walk.
Yeah, like literal health. Like it's like his whole health well-being is at risk when you're dealing with a neck in football.
Yep.
So
that's why
that's something
that said career ending. Everybody was like, "What? Wait, what?"
Yeah, and with a neck, I would be even open to sitting him down for the rest of the year. Like if you really gotta allow this first round draft choice to heal, take your time. Like
absolutely.
Very, very much so error on the side of super caution with this guy's neck. Because we all know the temptation, especially during times like this where we fighting to get in and to get in the playoffs and stuff, there's going to usually be pressure from the organization to try to get those guys on the field too.
Yep.
We saw it with Durant. We saw it with
John Lee, his entire career.
Yep. Like sometimes you fight to be a hero to where you'll run yourself out the NFL. Like you raised a good point the other day too when you was talking about the fact that even though Frederick had that disease, they were still keeping him optional all the way up until the end of the season until they finally put him on IR.
Week 11.
Meaning they kept, week 11, meaning they kept asking him over and over, how you feel? How you feel? You think you can go? You think you can go? How you feel? How you feel? You think you can go? You think you can go? And that's because of the pressure of the season. So, I just pray that our front office, our doctors, Jerry, Steven, Garrett, everybody involved, I would want them to be way safer. Because let's be honest, it probably been affecting him because his game changed, right?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't himself, especially after that injury. Like he looked very tentative to the point all of us were saying he regressed. But shoot, a neck injury will make a coward out of any man.
Yeah, well, because you only got one.
Yeah, and you feel it every time. And if you questioning, is this hit probably the last of my career, you gonna lighten up.
Yeah, and then you also got to think of it like this, man. You got to think of it like this, right? When Jason Garrett went on the podium and said, we don't think it's career threatening, that put a red flag up because that means someone had to have asked the question, do you think this is career threatening? And that was the answer that he gave them. No, we don't believe it's career ending. So that's why when he went out there and said that, he just repeated the answer that someone had just asked. Someone asked him, someone in LV's camp or in Jason Garrett's felt the need to say, do you guys think this is career?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
somebody asked that question.
So that's why I'm 100% in the agreement. And that's why, like, literally, I got two kind of soft deadlines. Like, if LVE can't come back for the Rams game, I think you should put him down for the entire season. Now, I will say this. I will reserve the right to activate him if we go to the playoffs. Why? Because that's an additional 3 weeks from now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is my plan with LVE. If he can't go by the Rams game, I won't put him on IR because I don't know if there's any type of restriction or anything like that. He'll just basically be what we're doing right now. It'll just be a DNP. You know what I'm saying? Do not practice. He'll go to practice every day and just DNP. The only thing sucks is you won't get that roster spot. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, if he's not ready for the Rams game, I'm 100% agree with him. I'm in my mind, I'm checking him out to the end of the season, and I'm not even gonna think about bringing him back until we're talking about the playoffs or we're talking about what team we about to play. So that's up on LVE. Something else that kind of came up in the nation too, because we're calling this who else? Antoine Woods, the big homie. He not playing. We already kind of knew that. I confirmed that with him on Friday. You know what I'm saying? I could tell the way he was walking that he wasn't about to play. That's when we was in El Paso. Also, speaking of Texas and West Coast going to Texas, West Coast will be in Dallas next week for the Rams game. I'm going to be doing my meet and greet with Jalen Smith. It's going to be at the Omni Hotel. It's $50 as long as you use my code West Coast 25. You get 25 off the original price. But we're going to be going down. He does a hell of a lot of interviews. He does a lot of autographs. And he's like number 2 right now in tackle. Number 2 or 3 right now in tackle. So, despite whatever the team is doing, Jalen Smith is having one of the best seasons of his career. So, shout out to him for that. And shout out for Cowboys Packages for having us out, too. My second thing I wanted to kind of talk about in updates was Byron Jones. There's like this new wave, and we're going to talk about the Bears. We're just getting through.
What about Pollard? Just real quick, because you were talking about the injury part. Yeah.
I had Pollard next, but we can just. Pollard was listed as with an ankle. That's the only thing that's been listed as him. He practiced yesterday, but he didn't practice today. I don't know when his ankle, because there wasn't really a time in the game where even when I was looking at film, I wasn't necessarily looking for that, you know what I'm saying? But because it kind of caught me off guard, him being even showing up on the practice report. But at the same time, man, I'm not about to make no big old deal out of Tony Pollard being on the practice. They don't even use him. It just means that Zeke is going to get those extra 3 carries. Like if he was using him, if we were using him the way we're supposed to be using him, then maybe I would be like, oh my God. But since we don't even use him correctly, it's like, I mean, I'm not saying it's whatever, but I mean, Tony Pollard's not going to be the deciding factor in this game. Could he be the deciding factor in this game if we change things up and use him correctly? Absolutely. But since we don't, and he only gets like 4 carries a game, 3, one game he got 1. One game he didn't get none. So yeah, and also the weather is going to preclude that this is going to be a run-heavy game, so I wouldn't actually even mind seeing Mike Weber active for this game, keep it real. Because, at the end of the day, this is going to be a ground and pound game, I believe. I think the weather is I think it's going to be cold. I think it's going to be really, really windy. I don't think it's going to be wet, but I think it's going to be really, really windy. And if you can run the ball, this would be a game that you can win in the trenches. So it's like, I wouldn't, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't, if Tony Pollard's a little dinged up, I mean, why even activate him? That's why you kept Mike Weber on the practice squad. That's why you have him. And he's healthy. So it's like, why not use that? Like, activate Mike Weber, let Mike Weber play. And he can do everything Zeke can do. Zeke just does it better, 100. What's your thoughts, boss? Yeah,
I absolutely agree. Like, I doubt that Pollard doesn't play, but I also
he's gonna play.
I'm very excited though to see Weaver. I've been very high on Weaver. I always called him Zeke Light. He was on my board, and I don't put everybody on my board. Even before we drafted him, he was somebody that I considered a steal. He didn't have any bad preseason games. He didn't have a bad blue and white practice. He never did anything bad.
He didn't have no bad moments either.
No bad moments. So it's almost like I'm excited that he's still with us. I'm glad nobody ever stole him off our practice squad because he's one of the main reasons. I also want to see us experiment with Pollard in the slot next year. Let's say if we just don't bring back Cobb, I'll be very open because I feel like Tony could be a weapon that really can give safeties and corners hell, right? Especially after the catch. Because if you notice something about him closely, if you watch him, he shakes every tackle from a safety in the corner. So if he can catch it and then be right there to where they have to make the tackle on him, that's advantage Dallas.
He gone.
So I'm always for the experiment to try to keep your talent on the field. And Weber has great speed. He showed great vision. He's somebody that has a running style similar to Zeke, just not as big as Zeke. That's the only real difference between them. So, I'm still kind of hoping and waiting and praying that Weber sometimes get off that practice squad and get his shot. So obviously that's a mixed bag because that would only happen at the expense of a Pollard injury. But at the same time, there are certain guys you want to kind of get out there when they have given you no reasons to doubt them, and he's one.
Yeah, I always I trust pro plays, right? Because when you're able to do plays, a pro play is like everybody in the field is good, right? But when you make plays that make you look better than the pros that are already on the field, that's a pro play. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We all wonder why I was so strong on Rico Gathers, because Rico Gathers had pro plays. You want to know why? Because there are tight ends in the leagues who aren't doing that. who aren't grabbing over people's shoulders and picking the ball from them. And my thing is this: if Rico can do it to our DBs, why can't he do it to somebody else's DBs? Wow, that's another story.
Right.
But when I saw Mike Weber put his foot in the ground on 2 occasions in 2 different games and turn around and go the total opposite way, and remind you, this is something I also seen him do against the second team defense in the blue and white game. Now, everybody crowned him when I said, man, this dude is nice. And then he started doing it in the preseason. Then he did it again. Like, a scout's eye say, man, if you can do it once, you can probably do it twice, man.
Yeah.
And so I think if we can think about, it's funny how we always, whenever we're trying to like downplay Zeke, we always say, oh, you can put that guy behind that offensive line and he'll do that, right? But whenever you want to put a different running back in there, like someone that we may favor, then we don't get that same offensive line. Like, could you imagine if we put that offensive line and then put Mike Weber right behind it?
Yep, because it definitely helped Pollard. Like when we was putting that false polish, we was putting false polish on Pollard. Not saying he's not great, but it was basically we was using Pollard in the offseason as leverage against Zeke on that contract. So every time Pollard ran the ball, to your point, he was running behind the horses and the hogs. Weber was out there running behind undrafted free agents at right tackle.
That's why he was putting his hand in the ground and going the opposite way.
And yeah, he had to reverse field a lot because it was nothing there. So he was basically creating stuff out of nothing, but still doing it. So it's one of those things, to your point, that I wanted to clarify even more is the excitement that we saw in Weber was with a very, very, very limited line. So to West Coast point, let's try to imagine him behind Zach, Liel having an upgrade of his season, T. Smith, right? And even Xavier Suafulo, his major issue was pass protection, but on run blocking, he's good.
Yeah.
And then obviously Frederick. So, yeah, so just kind of addressing Tony Pollard, that also to me gives us a chance to revisit a guy that's overlooked, in my opinion, and that's Weber. And some of these guys,
and he came out the exact offense that Zeke came out of. So his adaptability and his, like, it just makes like I don't get why the Dallas Cowboys like have the answer and just be like, no, I will not do it. I will not. I don't get it, bruh. Like, I thought they were going to be dumb enough and try to let him go. At least somebody was smart enough in our organization to at least keep him, man. Because I was like, oh, my God. On cut night, I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, man. It looked like Weber's on the wrong side of politics. Because, you can't watch Dallas and not recognize the politics unless you got your eyes closed.
Yep.
So it's certain people that you can tell that they've been bet on, and then certain people you can tell they was bet against. So what I mean is when you have people in higher levels of front office or people that help make these decisions in the drafts and they're trying to push their picks, you can see it. You can see it with our kicker Mayer. You can see it. Yep. Like somebody bet on Mayer because at this point, you never really challenged him in terms of competition and training camp. And then most people at this point with what he's been doing in this season would have been had competition and actually been snatched him.
Hey, boss, but somebody said, hey, Jerry, I can save you $4 million. I'm going to show you how. We're going to cut Dan Bailey. You know that guy at practice? The guy at practice? You cut a guy like this is why I want to be slapping people, right? Because listen, right? I got to tie this in, right? Brett Mayer lost his job. Got a job. Got Dan Bailey released off this team because he was making 50-yard kicks at practice. So now he's the starting kicker for the Dallas Cowboys. Taco Charleston got sacks in an actual game against actual NFL players and did not play. Explain that math to me.
Okay, bro. So
that's what we call politics. So that's why. So if you don't, it's some stuff you're gonna realize. Santa Claus don't exist, and that there is some politics in Dallas because that makes absolutely no sense.
Yep. Just like Anthony Brown versus Lewis, that never made sense. Just like it doesn't make sense to never use Josh Jones as safety, even though he was a second overall pick. Freaky safety that you say you marrying him with a super coach and Chris Richard. He never hit safety. George Local was cut off the team, and he was the one that had the most starter experience out of all the safeties we had on our team.
And now we have a starter. Now y'all talking about starter, and we have a safety problem, right?
Yeah. So it's like we had solutions, but we have our favorites, so then we run off those solutions. And I just pray and I hope that Weber is not on the wrong side of that politics because it's starting to look like he is.
Yeah, man. And, my thing, that's what my hope is that the Dallas, I'm trying to find out as much as I can right now to see if he's going to be active or not. But I don't be betting for the Dallas Cowboys to make the right decision all the time anyway. So, I just feel that the Dallas, these athletes in Dallas, you got to give them a little bit more credit than the average team because they got to go through a little bit more than the average team. But let's kind of switch subjects.
Yeah, facts.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. No, I just like what you just said.
Oh yeah, you gotta give him a little bit more. You gotta give him a little more credit. You know what I'm talking about? But my last update, man, was on Byron Jones, man. And I don't want to make this whole pity party, man, because he's playing, and I try to be as constructive criticism as possible. But two things about Byron Jones that I want to say. This whole national media thing about how, the Dallas Cowboys might not, re-sign Byron Jones. Like, something, man? I was so upset today. Why? Because I was like, back in March, one of my scouts, because I was saying April. He said one of my scouts corrected me. He said, no, West Coast, it wasn't April. The April draft was in April. He was already hurt in April. You said this in January, February, March. At the beginning of March, you said this, that the Dallas Cowboys should trade Byron Jones. And not only, Boss Cowboy, did we say it, we started coming up with teams that we should trade for, and we had plans, plots, and formulas. And you know what Byron Jones did?
True.
You know what he did?
Had surgery.
He had a surprise surgery. And after that, we knew it was not possible. But I will say this, man. The Dallas Cowboys, man, y'all knew y'all was not going to freaking extend Byron Jones, man. And I ain't going to lie to you, man. I still think Byron Jones is going to end up winning because somebody is going to pay for him. But Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones knew they weren't going to re-sign him. That's why I didn't understand, to me, why the Dallas Cowboys couldn't have traded him and used him to get it back. Like, I'm going to keep it real. With the talent that was in the second round, I would have been okay with trading him for a second-round pick.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because imagine if we would have gotten Thornhill and we had Tristan Hill. Then guess what? You would have had no problem with Tristan Hill. You want to know why? Because Thornhill's back here taking 99-yard interceptions to the house.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even be tripping off a Tristan Hill. Like, we could have just got an extra second-round pick. I would have been cool for it.
Yep. That's actually what we was aiming for, and that's actually what we was lobbying for heavily in the offseason. So it's kind of funny that he's coming up now, because it's a lot of things that's happening now that makes him come up. So first of all, during slow media days, people will always try to drum up a story on Dallas because nobody really knows if he's going to be on the team or not. Because the leverage right now is with Dallas that he stays, because his resume is not saying that he's worthy of top corner enumeration or contract or being paid, however you want to say it. He's not deserving of it. Plus, coming off the hip injury, that gives Dallas leverage to lowball him. So more than likely, all those leverage points are going to be used to try to get him under market, which is what Stephen Jones has been singing. But this is also a distraction that we created from how we handling Dak and Cooper. Because what people are doing is they saying, okay, there's only a couple of franchise tags that can maybe limit one of those guys from getting away. And they make an assumption that there's only so much money in the bank, so somebody's going to be the odd man out. And so they just drawing a conclusion that it's going to be Byron. But those are for people that never even really check Spot Track to see that actually we look like we're going to have $94 million in the cap for 2020. So there's actually nothing that says that Byron Jones would not be on this team. There's no real signals that that's a true decision that would be made now, but it's a distraction that we created by not taking care of Dak and Cooper. Because if you did take care of Dak and Cooper, then you could automatically say they can franchise tag him to hold him. But since you're going to
do that though, because if you don't get franchise tagging Byron Jones ain't worth no $14 million, man.
No, I'm with you, but I'm just saying why this story is weak.
You gotta pay him because you can't. What you gonna do? Rescind you can't rescind it. And I'm gonna keep it real. If I'm Byron Jones, after this season I want you to franchise tag me. Please, Jerry Jones. Please, Jerry Jones. Please, Jerry. Franchise tag me.
No, that'll be a come up for him.
For 14 tackles and no interceptions.
Is it that high? Is it $14 million?
Bruh, it's
I thought that
was
the highest paid. Yeah, look it up. And while you're looking it up, like what West Coast is saying is just like with the way that he's playing, he's not even close to top cornerback enumeration.
Bro, he's not. He's already making $9 million.
Yeah, he's not. It's because you're not getting the interceptions out of him. He's targeted almost like he's any other corner. He's losing a lot of his matchups. Matter of fact, the biggest plays that was made on him was made by rookies, right?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, tell me the numbers. I want to hear this. No, don't get up off your seat. Get up. All right, tell me the numbers. I got to hear it because I'm going to do the math. What's the first one?
The franchise tag for the cornerback next year, $16.4 million. we're not even having this conversation anymore.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
Not worth it? What?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna tell you like this. For all y'all folks that was okay with giving him 14 when we was way off, Amari Cooper makes 13 now. And you see what he brings to the Dallas Cowboys.
He gone.
Y'all, I heard people be like, oh yeah, let's franchise tag Buck Jones and then we'll use that to trade him. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? What team is gonna pay Byron Jones $16 million, $1 million a game? Bruh.
No.
Bruh.
No, because if you getting paid like that, then you the corner that's doing what Gilmore did with Cooper. What did Gilmore do to Cooper? What did he do to Hopkins?
Yeah, he only had
what did they do? No, what did they do strategically, bro? Tell the truth. What happened? He followed Cooper everywhere because I'm the best corner, right?
Yeah.
So you not seeing Byron do that. They not even using Byron like, hey, this is the guy that we're going to use strategically to limit the number one.
You want Jordan Lewis.
Yeah. And so what I fear with this current regime, just being honest, under this current regime, that also says that corner will likely be our first pick in this draft. But at the same time, under a new regime, we just might as well and could take advantage of this quality DT draft. Because there's at least 5 super high quality DTs in this draft that it's almost like impossible to miss if you target in the first round. So, and that also gives a lot of stock to some of those guys that's sitting in reserve, like who I'm excited about for next year is Chris Westry. I'm excited for Chris Westry.
Jamal says if Byron ain't signing for $8 to $9 million, he can walk. I'm gonna be honest with you, he's not worth $8 to $9 million.
You killing the West Coast.
Randall Cobb, and he's like, I'm sorry, Randall, like Byron Jones is not worth the money he's getting paid right now. No, he's not.
Everyone say $8 million to West.
No, he's not worth that.
What do you mean?
But and you gotta see it like this. I don't care what other corners are making. I care about what are you making versus what other players on my team that make that much are doing for me. Like, I'm looking at Cobb as a $5 million wide receiver, and he does way more for me than Byron Jones at $9 million.
Hey, somebody on Instagram asked a good question. Cowboys 5 Super Bowl rings said how much they paid for Carr years ago. If I remember correct, his total contract was about $50 million,
right?
But yeah, I see. We said it at the same time, so it must be $50 million. But this is the deal, and this is why I like that question. Yeah, he's still playing. This is why that's a good question, because it's easy to like Byron Jones right now at his current contract. You gonna hate Byron Jones on the new contract. You'll hate him because you gotta remember, Carr and Jones are the exact same, except Carr's actually a little bit better.
Talking about he worth at least $9. What does he do to make him worth $9 million?
No, he ain't worth. Yeah.
What does he do? What does he do?
See, this is the deal.
What did you? What? It's like when my kid. What did you pay for?
But see, when Carr was cool and exciting and was the top corner coming out from Kansas City, and everybody loved him.
Shoot, Robert Quinn don't even make $9 million. Sean Lee don't make $9 million.
He came to Dallas and did exactly what he was doing at Kansas City, and we hated him. Why? Because only getting 2 interceptions, 1 interceptions, or maybe at the most 3.
Bro, that's not what Jerry's paying you for. That's not what Jerry's paying you for.
He paying you for more than that. That's why everybody started hating Carr. Yep. Everybody started looking at Carr money real quick because he was cool when he was at Kansas City to get you 2 or 3 interceptions.
Because they weren't tripping. Because they weren't tripping.
Yeah, but when you paying a guy like top corner money.
Boss, can I ask you a question? What did we pay a Deion Sanders for?
35.
Okay.
And we paid him for
Why was we paying him for? To get the ball.
To get the ball. Yeah,
and to get away from San Francisco.
And to take out the number 1 threat on the other team.
I know that's why that's what I was saying.
And just to even take special teams out the equation, that's why we paid him, and he could. When we played San Fran with Dallas, who did Dallas say, hey, you got rights all game?
Deion.
Yeah,
when you're paying that type of money, bro, and this is the thing about
did he do his job, West Coast?
Yeah, he did his job. and this is the thing, when you're paying someone that type of money, you are paying them to have an effect on the game. You're not paying this person like when you're making a slushy or one of them fruits drinks. You're not paying him to be the drinks. You're paying him to be the chunks. Like when you drink it, you feel that going down your throat. You know what I'm saying? That's what you paying him for. Zeke is getting paid the type of money he's getting paid because his fingerprint is on the game, and that's why y'all get so mad at Zeke. When his fingerprint's not on the game, you be like, well, damn, what was Zeke at? It'd be a win, and y'all be like, well, where was Zeke at?
Right.
So now you're gonna pay Byron Jones fingerprint money and let him just be some guy?
No.
Hell no.
Can't do it. No.
Hell nah.
Nah.
No.
And see, the sad thing, West Coast. Let me go ahead and give me your shoulder to crown, bro. I'm finna make you cry. Come here. No, you come here. Get on my shoulder.
You want me?
Okay, cool. Yeah, there you go. All right, this is the sad thing I want to tell you that most people forgot. Byron Jones was used as leverage against Cooper, Zeke, and Dak. People forgot that. Steven Jones was saying all offseason, well, we got to, make sure that we got enough money to go because we got Byron to pay. How many times did he bring up Byron? And now it's starting to come out, we probably ain't going to sign him. So you looking like you wasn't going to sign all the other guys for market value, and you're not going to end up signing the guy that you was using for leverage all offseason not to get other people what they deserve. Boy, the ball's dirty. That front office, boy, they dirty. So the whole time you been holding this guy up as leverage, at the end of the season, you say, we were just playing.
Yeah, and where Byron Jones is, I'm going to be honest with you, like, the Dallas, like, I'm sorry. I have too many, like, corners. Like, Byron Jones is a good corner, right? But I think I could find someone young. Like, if I got to pay, my last thing on Byron Jones before we move on to the Bears, if I got to pay any corner $14 million, $16 million, why the hell do I have Chris Richard? Like, Chris Richard, you're supposed to be coaching these good guys so good to save me some money. Why do I need to have the best DB coach in the nation, in the world, to then have to still go pay a corner $14 million to do his job? And he's halfway doing his job.
Yeah,
like at some point, Chris Richard, you're supposed to save me some money.
Yep.
Like that's the whole purpose of me getting all these undrafted free agents.
Perfect example is New England. Even though they paid Gilmore top enumeration at the time, he giving you literally defensive player of the year type of return on investment, right? Yeah. So like literally, if you looking at this whole league closely, this man is in the running for defensive player of the year, brother. So, but other than that, New England is leaning on their coaching to get them other boys on lockdown level, and that's a fact. And that's been happening for years through New England. West Coast is right, and y'all need to write it down what he just said. You do not pay and raise up a Chris Richard and then turn around and say, but he couldn't make this guy our top corner to be able to go follow the biggest threats on the field. Yeah. You can't do that. Like, so if I paid for you, Chris Richard, then that means I shouldn't have to pay for you.
Exactly.
And if I did pay for you, Chris Richard,
your playing ain't good.
Right. And if I did pay for you, Chris Richard, why is this man that we drafted to be the, our first pick not on shutdown on the number one threats?
Thank you.
It's not the fact. And it's not that nobody, like, we ain't hating on Byron. It's almost like we got to really just be careful to analyze the return on investment. And he's honestly, as the leader of a secondary, not being a good leader because you got to set the tone for interceptions. Like, if you're not turning around for the ball and you're the person that everybody's saying the best out there, then why everybody else? Right? Yeah. If you're not coming down with the ball, why would a Wuze? Like, I played with top corners. One of my friends that I played with, he was All-American and all that kind of stuff, was right across from me. When he went up there and got him an interception, that was like, I got to give me one too. Because I was like the little brother to him. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But if he not doing it and he around there celebrating non-catches, and that's when they don't catch it, he didn't catch it. He pull out his little pistol. He didn't catch it. Yeah, nah, bro. We need somebody that come down with the ball.
Exactly, man. So yeah, man. So my biggest, that was kind of like y'all already, if you've been rocking with your boy, for everybody that's new, that hasn't been rocking with your boy, I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. But I mean, you guys kind of know my take on Byron Jones, man. I at the end of the day, I think he's making too much money right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry, like I can't do it. I can't do it. Byron Jones probably, I mean, he had his highest value last year, and then like he was not able to follow that up. So now it's like the only thing you really can do is re-sign him and hope that he gets better. So I mean, it's like if you re-sign Byron Jones, what would you be re-signing him off of? Last year? Well, if that was the case, you should have signed him last year. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't. You signed him this year, and I guarantee you're not going to tell me that in the conversation between Jerry Jones and Byron Jones, that Jerry Jones said at some point, "Hey, bro, you got to get some interceptions." Okay, I'm gonna get some interceptions. Well, guess what? He has 0.
Let me ask you a question real quick before we move off of Byron Jones.
True.
Would you be open for him on a team-friendly deal?
No. I think some ships are just sailed, bro. Like, my thing is this. I paid you $9 million this year for you to just be a guy over there playing corner. Like what's team friendly? $1 million? $2 million?
No,
like, you're not going to play for nothing disrespectful, right? And I don't believe you should. And if you're going to pay, and to be honest with you, if Byron Jones was out there on the open market, how much would I be willing to pay him? Probably like $3-4 million, bro. Because that's what we gave Nolan Carroll from Philadelphia. Remember when he came over? We gave that dude $9 million, 3-3-3. So it's like, and that's the last free agent corner we brought in. And I don't see Byron Jones outside of last year. I don't see him better than I just don't see it, man.
Well, I do got to ask you one more follow-up question.
Shoot.
Do you think that we being fair to Byron Jones, given the fact that he did have hip surgery? Are we asking too much on the year where he had hip surgery?
Absolutely. Because guess what? He could just not be playing right now. Like, this is my thing, bro. In the professional football league, Des said it best. If you can't play, don't play. If you can play, play. But if you can't play, don't play. Why? Because they will hold injuries against you. Why? Because you're on the field.
True.
So guess what? Amari Cooper, if you can walk out there and you can get dressed, I'm expecting you to be 100% until you get smacked and you can't get up no more. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because Cooper right now is leaving everybody without excuses.
Thank you, bro. Like, Cooper out there, Cooper literally took his leg and bandaged it up. Had a blood sock on it. I got it on my Instagram. You can see the boy's sock bleeding. Like Kurt Schilling in the goddamn World Series in Boston. It's bleeding. And then he goes out there, takes 179 yards to the house.
Yeah, that's leaving people like Byron without excuse.
Bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it ain't no excuse when you seeing other guys that's also playing through pain, still putting up.
And it ain't no excuse when the team didn't even know about the surgery. So this is something that you chose to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something you chose to do. So you can't. And I got
a friend that actually recommended that he don't.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Talk to him.
You can't. That's what I'm saying, boss. You can't have surgery on your hip. And we didn't even recommend it for you, and now you're gonna try to use that as a hold back against. No, that was your decision. That's why Stephen Jones said what did he say? A sneaky? Said it was a sneaky need.
Yeah, he called it a sneaky need in the offseason, and that very week he had the surgery.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. But yo, man, let's switch it up real quick, man, before we get up out of here, man. We're gonna talk about these Bears offense versus the Hot Boys. Shoot, man, just before we do that, let me slide something real quick. Make sure okay.
Boy, made me pull out my boots.
Somebody saying, I told y'all Byron Jones sucked. Man, you ain't telling me Byron Jones sucked.
He don't suck. That's going a little bit too far. I wouldn't say suck.
He don't suck either, but he's just not worth $10 million.
Yeah, he just that's kind of very strong.
We don't use those adjectives on here.
No, and he really don't suck. No, he don't suck. It's just that I'm not going to pay Billy money for a vet.
Yeah, he's not worth $10 million.
Right.
And that's okay.
And that's how we're talking about Billy money versus a vet. A vet a nice car, but it's not a Billy.
Exactly. You're not going to pay that. You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's get into this offense, man. So you got Mitch Trubisky, and he does suck. Nah, I'm playing with you. We actually played pretty good last week. He actually played pretty good last week. He had his best game of the season, 419 yards, 38 attempts for 29. No, 38 attempts, completed 29 for 419 yards, had a touchdown or two. I think they're definitely. I don't think they're regretting it, but I definitely think they're going to give him. I don't think they're going to shell him next year. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely think that next year is going to be a make or break year for Mr. Mitchell Trubisky. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely he's hitting that sophomore slump hard. You know what I'm saying? And I think the reason why a lot of these guys hit that sophomore slump is because you can't be the same player in your second year in the NFL. You got to be better. And if you just come back into the NFL and you're the same player, then guess what? Everybody else around you got better. So now you're not as good as them. So I think Mr. Trubisky is not that he's a bad quarterback. I just don't think he got better in the offseason. You know what I'm saying?
This is third year, bro.
Huh?
This is third year.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, he a bum. I got my years wrong, but because he got drafted the year I was in Dallas. So he got drafted. This is I thought it was, because this is what he had last year when his rookie year. Oh, yeah, man. So, yes. But you know what? Cam Newton might open some folks' eyes, man. So you never know, man. You never know. I heard some rumors about him possibly going to be up there in Chicago or something like that, but I don't know. I mean, it's a second overall pick, man. Ain't nobody walked away from their their picks like that. You know, the Dallas Cowboys walked away from a first round pick, but man, that's a lot of money at stake. And if I'm not mistaken, they probably had to trade up to get him. So they did. They
gave up the farm, bro, to go get him.
Yeah, so. And
they passed up on Mahomes and Watson.
So it's like,
which they could have stayed put and got.
Yeah, and he's 1 year removed from a Pro Bowl season. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, man, he's not having a good season. He's 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But one thing I will say is, out of all the bad play that he's playing, this is probably the best he's played this year, which was the last 2 games. The Bears, also a neato stat, they're 3-0 when he has over 100% passer rating. So I'm gonna tell you this: their offense 100% goes through them. They're they're a very obvious offense. I mean, they do a lot of screens, but screens, in my opinion, isn't trickery. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something, that screen should be something obvious. Now, I know a screen play in Dallas is considered a trick play, but it really isn't. Because I know teams that run the screen, like the Ravens run the screen play, like they run it like 9-10 times a game. Like, just different variation. How is that a trick play? That ain't no trick play. That's their offense. You know what I'm saying? But yes, boss, a screen play is a trick play in Dallas. It's almost like a fake field goal punch. Like, let's catch them off guard with a screen. How about we just do a screen? You know what I'm saying? So, but
get me started.
Yeah, you feel me? But like, let me go through their offense real quick, and then I'll let you shoot at it, boss. You got their, in my opinion, their best offensive player, as far as skill wise, is a toss up between Tariq Cohen and this kid Montgomery, number 32. I'm gonna be honest with you, Montgomery. If they get a good line behind this kid, he's nasty, man, and he got the wiggles. And y'all know the wiggles is like is one of the higher compliments that West Coast will give you. He got the wiggles, man. He is very.
I would add Allen to that list too, man. Allen Robinson.
Yeah, but Mitchell's not having a good season, so you're not really seeing that. You know what I'm saying? He probably is. And he got
71 receptions.
Yeah,
I said 850 yards.
Yeah, I said that on my earlier show. Like, he's better than what he's playing, but his quarterback ain't playing good. So it's like,
right.
And he's not good enough to just outplay it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
and I'm looking at this from a standpoint of scouting and potential danger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because almost like, to your point, even on Mitch, right? We can go into this game confident and get caught slipping.
Yeah.
Almost like what happened with the Titans, right? All the numbers said Marcus Mariota wasn't going to be the quarterback that he became that day when he beat us. Because, see, we all got to remember that Dallas is the one game for sure that everybody's going to circle on their calendar, and the ex-Super Bowl champs. Those are 2 games that everybody's going to always circle on their calendar. So I was just bringing him up as a potential threat.
Primetime game.
Right. It's a Thursday night game. It's at your house. A sense of pride should make the ballers come up. And Allen Robinson was the number 1 receiver free agent when Chicago took him.
Yep.
So, yeah, and I think he would have been damn good with Dak, like, for real. Like, almost like Cooper is obviously a better receiver with Dak than he was with Carr. So like there's danger with Allen, and I don't want Mitch nor Allen to kind of find their groove on us.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago did the right thing by going to get their young quarterback a weapon. It made 100% sense.
It made sense, bro.
We just didn't understand why we weren't doing it. But it made sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I still want Dallas to do it at this point because, I mean, we can finish the scouting report, but Mitch is another example of a team committed to weaponing up their quarterback that we're not quite seeing in Dallas. Like somebody will say, what you talking about, boss? We got Cooper. But see, Cooper was an emergency acquisition. That wasn't something that was a vision from front office. That wasn't a vision like we're getting ready to really try to weapon up Dak. It was more so like we got to because we're going to lose this season. And all you got to go do is look at the draft from even this year in 2019 and look at the commitment that other teams made to their quarterbacks that never was really made in Dak. And you look at some of the people that we passed up, not even some, we passed up a ton of weapons that was on my board and West Coast board, even all the way down to the 6th and 7th round. Keelan Doss, right, who with the Raiders right now balling, had a killer Senior Bowl. Williams from Miami, late round pick. We was picking D ends instead of giving Dak, and I would add more red zone weapons. Like Dallas still to this day really don't have a quality red zone weapon. That's why we got this crazy disparity between being first in yards, but we 8th in points. Because we getting down there and we stalling out. And we warned about it in the offseason, didn't we, West Coast?
Yep.
We talked about it all offseason. We said everybody's sitting here focusing on one thing, D-tackle. And they ignoring the biggest elephant in the room was Cooper did not solve our red zone issue.
Nope.
Because our numbers exploded with Cooper between the 20s, but they still was anemic in the red zone. And we did nothing about it. And we were saying all offseason, they putting too much on a rookie OC. They said, OC, go solve all the problems, but we not going to give Dak and you the weapons to make it happen in that red zone. And they got rid of Rico.
Yeah. So, I mean,
and see, some people say, like, Rico was washed up. It's like, I'm not even arguing was he an all-pro. I'm just saying some teams, especially given the fact that he was on your team for so long, would have drilled some plays for him to just jump over people in the red zone.
Yeah.
I'm sure some teams would have did that.
Yeah. But, I mean, just to keep it back, I mean, Montgomery right now, he has 172 carries for 594 yards, 3.5 yards a carry, averaging 5 yards.
5 TDs.
5 TDs. My biggest concern with him, honestly, is not really in the field one-on-one. It's really what I saw from him is this dude is really good at turning nothing into something. Like, he's really good at, like, when you get him bundled up in the backfield, like, there were several times where the Lions had them bundled up in the backfield, and he just out-wiggled them. Like, they do this thing, man. I don't know what it's called. Like this. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's like a jump cut in the air. And him and Saquon do it very, very well. I didn't know what as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's that little Saquon thing. And they do it more or less getting away from tackle. So I said earlier on my earlier show today, the Dallas Cowboys in this game really, really got to focus on getting 5 hats on getting 5 hats on the ball. That means, this is gang bang tackling. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy definitely has the wiggles. Now, Tariq Cohen is a great guy. He's a great back also. But they're more or less like their utilization of them is kind of like New England Patriots. Like when Montgomery's on the field, they're running the ball. When Tariq Cohen is on the field, they're passing the ball.
They're passing. Yep. That's what the numbers say.
Like, and you know that because then Tariq Cohen's, he only has 150 rushing yards.
Yep.
For 47 attempts.
Yep.
Then he has 55 receptions. That's a lot.
They use him for the passing game.
I think we have one reception. We have one person on our team that got more than 55 receptions.
Yeah, and see, that's super big what you just talked about.
306 yards.
That's super big what you just said because that's a real big key that our defense would be foolish not to obviously know that trend. That the running backs almost give away what they're trying to do.
Yep.
Like straight up. Like and you're right, that was the exact same situation with New England. Situation with New England.
So that should actually help you.
Super help.
That should super help you.
I would also say, since we're looking at the offense, one of the keys that I think we should do this game is really try to get after Mitch. Because try to really make it hard on Mitch, send more blitzes than you normally do, because they really don't have the outside threats to really make you kind of conservative. We match up well against the receivers. So with that, use the matchups that we have at an advantage-wise in terms of coverage to allow your guys to get to the quarterback, because I think where Mitch can still be dangerous is if Mitch is playing a clean game. You want to try to get Mitch on the ground. You want to try to keep people in his face. You want to keep him frustrated. To me, if that's the way that's to me the proper way to attack this team is to don't come out conservative. Don't come out like we go only kind of attack him with four rushers. Blitz them, like come after them, like make it hard on them, make them antsy. Another profile of Mitch that's obvious, and he admitted, and why I say we should get after him, because he's a coward under pressure. Like, he's so weak, he could never go through what Dak is going through. He literally said through a little bit of opposition about him, we need to turn all the TVs off in the facility because it's affecting me on how I prepare for the games.
What?
Yeah, he wanted all the televisions turned off in the facility because it was negative about him. It's negative about Dak every week on his best games. He ain't asking for the TVs to be turned off in the facility. That tells you that he has a weak mind state. And if you can pressure him, he's going to fold.
Yeah, man. I mean, it shows. I mean, they're 3-0 when he's 100%. So that means in games where he's not, 100% means that everything is clicking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need to make sure that tomorrow that everything's not clicking.
Right. Make it hard on him. Yeah. I mean, he's also low-key a dangerous runner.
Yeah.
He's also low-key a dangerous runner. Like, people don't notice, but he was faster than Watson in the combine.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and we struggled like kind of low-key on quarterbacks that can get outside the pocket and use their legs. So that's something we also got to keep our eye on, because he will kind of hurt you on the ground, especially on pivotal like downs where they're using the scramble even over trying to get it with his arm. So that would be something I hope our D coordinators kind of keep their eye on. Every now and then you got to spy him, because he going to rely on his legs more than he rely on his arm sometimes on pivotal downs.
That's a good point. Also, the soft point of this offensive line is up the middle. I definitely think that our defensive tackles, man, can have a huge effect on this game. Mitchell Trubisky, man, when it's just like any quarterback, they going down if it's up the middle. But I'm gonna tell you, if we can get pressure up the middle, it's also gonna stop that run game. And I'm gonna tell you, like, Mitchell Trubisky, honestly, is like so much of they don't have another person to go through if he's not playing well. Like, you know, if Dak ain't playing well, we can go through Zeke. If Zeke ain't playing well, we can go through Dak. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or if it changed, or like their offense is going through him. So it's like if we get to him and we can get that pressure up the middle, man, this is gonna be this is, you know what I mean, and it's gonna be cold. You're gonna see a bunch of arid passes. He already throws 7 interceptions. Remember, he played in every game all this year. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, you know, there will be opportunities, man. So these DBs should be able to get their hands on the ball. So, but I'm saying like this: my boy Bennett, my boy Covington, and my boy what's my other D tackle? Let's see if he'll get his first career sack, man. Let's see.
Yeah, man, and I'm so glad you brought up Tristan Hill, bro. You know why?
Let's see if he gets his first career sack.
Because Tristan Hill low-key had a good game versus the Bills, bro.
He did. He just
like, if anybody really go check, Tristan Hill actually did good, bro. Like, he went in there, he had 2 tackles for loss, and he recognized, diagnosed the screen, backtracked, and stopped it. He read it instantly, hustled to the ball. Now, he didn't have a bunch of snaps, but when he was in there, he looked good. Yeah. And like I say, you know, we was very hard on him at pick 58, but I never wanted to be right. I would rather be wrong. Because if we wrong,
him, bro. Like, we
need him, bro. I would want to be wrong on that. I would want to be the person that's sitting on here eating crow. Like, you know what, Tristan Hill was the best pick at 58. Forget throwing Hill, I piss on him and I spit on him. I'd rather have to say that than to say, damn, we knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah, I know.
But So with that, I'm glad you brought him up because at the same time, Tristan Hill deserved a little bit of love. Because if you show a little bit of flash, I think it's right for us to also give you your credit too. Not just be hammering you when you're not getting your time. But when you go out there and you do your thing, all of us need to hit the brakes and say, hold on, did y'all see that?
Exactly. So, I mean, that's why I said I also think he's probably going to get more playing time in this game than he probably has gotten in other games too. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably, playing time is earned. It's not deserved. So, I mean, he has to earn that, obviously. But, I mean, I don't know. Something about it says that this could be a game where my D tackles are going to eat. And Tristan Hill is usually in there around like the third or fourth quarter-ish. So, guess what?
They start rotating.
Guys will be tired, and he'll be fresh. You know what I'm saying? That's the
and
situation.
he really looked hungry, man. He really did. He played like I want to get my name back.
Hey, let me say, and that's what you're really looking for him right now, because that's where the advantage is with Tristan Hill, is waiting for someone to be tired and then slide him in there fresh, because now they're on about the equal same playing field. You might be better than me, but guess what? You're tired, and I can run. So I mean, and also that's where that strength diminishes too, because his biggest issue is what? Strength, man, flat out. All right, man, going on to our next thing, our next subject, man. We're going to talk about this offense a little bit. I think the biggest question that people want to know flat out, man, when you look at the film, do we feel that this should be a run-first game or a pass-first game? I'll let you take it first.
Man, I'm going to flip the script on you, man. Pass first.
Oh, you actually right. Go ahead.
Oh, you agree with me?
Yeah, I agree.
Damn.
If we can throw it, throw it. You want to know why?
Man, that's crazy. Because you watch film to diagnose them, and I didn't talk to you about that.
You want to know why?
Go ahead.
Because when I look at 2019, the best that the Dallas Cowboys ever were is when we were throwing the ball. So I want to honestly, my definition of the best the Dallas Cowboys will look.
Oh my God, you actually right. Go ahead.
The best that they will look to me is throwing the ball. So it's like, if we can't throw the ball, I want to throw the ball. But I don't know if the ball. I don't know if we're gonna be able to because of the weather.
No, I looked at the weather. I got the weather up right now, bro. The weather actually looks really good in Chicago in terms of forecasting, right? So the weather is showing that it's going to be around game time, about 37 degrees, so it's not freezing. Clear skies. They gonna be playing on grass. This is the type of weather you can throw on, bro. No, they say 0 chance of rain. You know.
Hey, Daniel, hold up real quick. Daniel Garcia, if you're a Cowboy fan, I'm gonna let you delete your comment because I was about to block you right now, and the Lord told me to stop. You got actually I didn't get to stop. My wife I got text on the thing right there, so you just got saved. But I need you to go back and delete your text. Delete that. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to get on my live feed and say we're going to lose tomorrow before a game and you call yourself a Cowboy fan, I just need you to jump off because we not the same, brother. We not the same. My boys is already in Dallas. I mean, they already in Chicago. They can't get back on the plane and come back home. They got to play this game. So guess what we going to do? we going to play this game with them. This is how I go.
Right on.
All right,
but
so
the weather, and see, the weather is a factor on why we should throw. So, like, a lot of people kind of misjudged, to me, Dak and Cooper in the New England game because they was like, we should have threw it more. And it's like, bro, the wind was literally 27 miles an hour. You can't trust no ball with 27 miles an hour winds, bro. You cannot. Like, obviously, you got to throw to kind of keep people honest, but wind like that is going to take anybody, any quarterback out there throwing game. That's why you had trash games by not just Dak, but also the GOAT had a bad game throwing in 27 mile an hour winds. The winds on this game is going to be like 8, they said, like 5 to 8. So it's not going to be crazy, but it's going to be some wind. You see what I'm saying? So the biggest thing on why I'm going with that we should be pass first is because really Dak is going to have time. Generally, because Khalil Mack is not having a real good pressure year, nor is he having a good sack year, right? And if you look at their D-line across the board,
Raekwon against freaking goddamn Xavier though. You're gonna have Raekwon. You're gonna have Raekwon Smith versus Xavier though. I don't know, man. If Xavier can hold it down, we'll see.
I'm almost certain that Raekwon gonna be able to get limited
He had 15 tackles and 2 sacks last week.
Yeah, and he's a fast offensive monster. It's just that Xavier got to be able to get his hands on him.
Yeah. Hey, pause real quick. Hey, I want to tell everybody in this news feed right now. If you want to talk about firing Jason Garrett or Lincoln Riley, get off my live feed. Because we ain't talking about nothing. Ain't got nothing to do with beating these goddamn Chicago Bears, man. Stop being weird, Dallas Cowboys. Like, stop being weird. This is the night before the game, and y'all up here talking about want to fire a coach. No, your mind should be focusing on beating the Chicago Bears. And if I offended you, good, because that means you weren't in the right space anyway. So back to what we doing. Run or pass. We have to beat these damn Bears.
Pass on this game, because Dak should have time in this game. And Dak should have time, and then when you look at the injury report, Prince, the left corner, is suffering with a hamstring issue. When your left corner has hamstring issues, you want to test that hamstring. Straight up. You want to go right at him, bro. You want to go vertical on him, man. You want to make him run with that hamstring all game. Like, we going to try to tighten that ham up, my man. Because so like, Dak with time, Dak going to kill you. Like, straight up. So you would think in a game like this that we should run the ball. But when you look at the weather conditions, when you look at the matchups, it all says that we should come out passing. Another reason why we should consider coming out passing more than running is because the Chicago front is ranked 7th in terms of stopping the run, but it gets worse. When they're at home, they're 2nd, bro.
Damn.
They're 2nd. So, when you're looking at the matchups and you look at how they play at home, why would you run into their strength? It's the exact same thing that happened to Minnesota. We kept using Zeke, running at Minnesota's strength, right? And so if we've been consistent on what we've been preaching this game or for this season, West Coast and I have been saying one thing that the Cowboys need to be: not Dak team, not Zeke team, but adaptable. We've been saying, look at the report, look at the weather, look at the matchups, and then decide what's going to be your main source of attack. Everything about this game says we have to come out chunking this ball. Everything. And it's not saying we shouldn't test the run, because you always should test the run how we're built, because we're built to be a physical team. So you got to come out and give them a couple of body shots at the run to see if that defensive front is really what the paper say it is. Because if it's not, then obviously because of, being in Chicago and it's going to be a little bit colder, then we might adjust our offense and say, okay, let's be more balanced. But everything in this game says Dak should have 350 throwing.
Yeah, my boy Big Toe said, he said, nah, dog. He said, nah, man, damn that. Give Zeke a fullback and roll. You absolutely right, but we don't practice common sense here in Dallas, so. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, Zeke is everybody's like, what's going on with Zeke? Well, no, what happened to his fullback? Well, he catches passes. Well, he don't even catch passes.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you guys something in this game that I failed to mention, that they do use their fullback. And he one of them big grizzly fullbacks, too. Like, you can look and hold him and be like, yeah, he's a fullback. Yeah, they got one of them type of fullbacks, and they use him. Let's talk about Khalil Mack.
6.5 sacks, bro.
6.5 sacks. Even though Khalil Mack may be having a whatever season, I'm still going to show him his respect, and I'm still going to treat him like he is Khalil Mack. I'm still going to treat him the same way people treat DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm still going to treat him like an elite player. Something I'm doing to make sure that I'm always – one thing you got to know about Khalil Mack is, first off, you got to always know where he is. You know what I'm saying? Dak Prescott, we got to always understand that we're identifying where Khalil Mack is, because I don't want Khalil Mack is a guy that can take over games. Like, that's his way. He's able to do that. He has that ability. You know what I'm saying?
And let me add one more thing to that real quick, West Coast. Just to echo you too.
Go ahead.
He can do it at will too.
Hell yeah.
Because, like, most of his sacks in his career comes when?
What, I'm be honest, I would think probably in the fourth quarter.
Sure, you hit it right on the head. and you're supposed to be tired in the fourth quarter. You shouldn't really get your sacks in the fourth quarter. That means when the game on the line, he hits a switch. And when you can hit a switch, that means you can almost always hit a switch. When most of your production is coming in the fourth quarter, that means that you can take over. So to your point, which is an excellent point, the year is saying the average year, but to again, this is a game to where everybody kind of circle on their calendar a primetime game, and this is where Khalil Mack can just show up. The biggest advantage that I would say though, real quick though, West Coast, is Leal Collins, even on bad years and his worst years, have historically done well on Mac. So with this being one of Leal's best years, I really more so would lean to him being more so neutralized. But you're right. The first thing Dak should look for every time he come out that huddle is where's 52.
Yeah. Next thing we need to do is we need to chip him and we need to get a hand on him on every single play.
Really?
Yes. The reason why, now, obviously on Pass Pro, you're going to go with whatever you know. But if Khalil Mack is coming across your face, you smack him. Period.
Yeah. Okay. So you basically saying slow the game down then.
I'm saying, not even that I'm just saying slow the game down, but it's like I want to make sure there's always a shoulder pad on him, because if I'm doing that, that means I'm able to do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the Cowboys are. We are confident and we going to do what we want to do. So now I'm like, okay, you want to throw it on 3rd and 1. Instead of me saying that's a dumb idea, I'm going to just figure out a better pass play because you're going to do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? I've given in. You won, Cowboys. Y'all won. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do what you want to do.
Man, I would want to see Lil see if he can handle him, bro. Like,
I'm just saying, I'm saying like this. When he's coming across your face,
okay, I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
If you're a wide receiver, if you're anybody that's coming across his face, you're gonna put a hand on him. There is no him just sitting there reading. No, none of that. None of that. You know what I'm saying? You need to put a hand on him
because he's the biggest threat, right?
He's the one that can take a game over.
Right. So you basically saying whenever you get a chance, chip him or just absolutely take away the threat,
or absolutely just take it away. And now, and then my last thing is this. And I'll make a video. I just gave you all my notes, but I'm going to make a video on this tomorrow. If it is a 3rd and I got to make it, or a 2nd and I got to have it.
Yeah, you better chip him. Facts.
Do not use freaking use somebody with somebody. But I'm saying on primary blocking scheme plays, don't use no damn wide receiver thinking he's gonna be able to move goddamn Khalil Mack. Don't use no damn don't try to use no we're gonna throw a pick play and see if Cedric Wilson can pick him. No, none of that. I wouldn't even think that Jason Witten or none of these tight ends can block him.
No.
So don't use him on no 3rd and I have to have it. I'm serious, Cowboys. Don't do this. I would rather you just put
you got to say that, but you really do.
Yeah, I would rather you just put a 6th lineman in. Just be all the way obvious. Like, just be all the way obvious. If you know you need this 1 yard and you know you're going to run it, just put a 6th lineman in. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you go out there thinking Jarwin's going to do it, bruh, Khalil Mack's going to wash you. Bruh. And that's going to be the one play we needed him not to wash him.
Yeah, and the Cowboys will do something like that.
Yeah, Jason Witten. The game's on the line. We don't need you to catch the play.
You're going to be one-on-one with Khalil Mack because we believe that you can do it.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. That's a guaranteed sack, my man.
Like, especially when you know what I'm saying? That's why.
That's the fact. And see, that's something that I hate that you have to say, but that's the type of stuff you got to say with Dallas, bro. Like, that should be something that should never have to come across our lips, bro. Is to not put a tight end ever on Khalil Mack, but we will and have. You know what I mean? And it's times we've done that and people say, why did y'all just do that, bro? Like, you should have known that he was going to blow up with.
Like, like when we should have known that Noah Brown can't block Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh, but we tried it anyway in the playoffs on 3rd and 1. You talking
about, you said Noah Brown, you meant Looney.
Yeah, well, Noah Brown was the backup, but Noah Brown was the block right behind him.
Was he?
Yeah, because Noah Brown was the one that came in motion.
Oh, Jesus.
And then he came. Remember in the Rams game, he was out wide. Then Noah Brown came in. They hiked the ball. Looney hit. And Noah Brown went right behind him. Man, come on now.
Come on, Jesus, bro.
Come on.
Yeah.
Now.
But that's the type of stuff you got to say on this game. That's the type of scheme that I hope we never see. Yeah.
And my last thing to also is, man, I'm honestly, when I get the opportunity, I'm running at him, especially if I got a fullback. Why? Because I want to get him moving. I got to wear out some of that energy. So when the 4th quarter comes, he ain't got no energy to make no plays. Why? Because he tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to use one thing about Khalil Mack in disruptive plays is they exert a lot of energy. Well, I need you to exert that early. You know what I'm saying? So come fourth quarter, you about as normal as you can get. And everybody's like, yeah, but Khalil Mack's not having a good season. I don't care about a good season. I'm talking about a good game. I don't need him to have a good game.
Yeah.
Give a damn about him having a good season.
You want to make sure he don't have a good game.
Yes. Because him having a good game would be horrible.
Yeah, and another thing I would say, man, just real quick, since we're looking at their defense versus our offense, I think we got to attack Ha-Ha. I think he should be Ha-Ha and Pierce should be the top two people that we attack this team.
Ha-Ha's the safety.
Yeah, Ha-Ha's their strong safety.
They got from Packers.
Redskins.
I thought he got from Packers. Oh, yeah, he came from Packers. Didn't he get it from the Packers?
Packers to the Redskins.
I remember.
To these guys. Because, obviously they believe in the Florida secondary. They put the Alabama secondary back together.
We played him a lot.
Eddie Jackson is one of the scariest people back there. He's a super good ball hawk. He's somebody you also got to really keep your eye on. He only has one interception this year, but he's the type of guy that's a game changer, right? So he's very deceptive. He can trick a quarterback into making a bad throw, and he'll make up for it. Like, he was somebody that had a first-round grade coming out of Alabama, but had his ACL injury going into his senior year at Alabama, and it dropped him. But he's a true first-round safety, like quality safety. He's somebody that I studied big time coming out when he was coming out of Alabama. So Eddie Jackson would be the guy that I actually stay away from. Ha-Ha would be the guy that I target.
And you got to remember, Dak knows Ha-Ha because he knows him. We didn't play Green Bay 3 times, and he played Washington every year. So he knows him well. He should know him well. But hey, Boss Cowboy, go ahead, man.
Cal Fuller's their most dangerous corner. He got 3 interceptions right now, 10 pass breakups. So he's basically playing the best out of all of them. So if it's anybody that you kind of want to avoid in terms of going through your progressions, it would be him. So, like, everything would say, like, straight up that we should come out throwing this ball because it's already geared up more than likely that they're going to be real good at stopping the run. This is still a top D, even though they haven't played up to it quite this year. This could be the game that they kind of come out like they was last year. And so if they come out like they was last year to where they was really good, the best way to attack them is going to be the matchups in their secondary and the linebacker. So the people that I honestly think that should have good games should be Cobb, Cooper, Jarwin, and Gallup.
All right. Hey, man, I'm gonna drop my video tomorrow doing a little bit of market predictions early in the morning. So y'all make sure y'all support them like y'all always do. Y'all always support them. I appreciate you guys. Boss Cowboy, let them know they can find you at, man. Boss
Cowboy Sports. And I'm going to definitely do a recap after this game. I'm going to be right back on the recap action to where y'all can get a full analysis on how I saw the game and some of the breakdowns and some of the good things that I saw.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to tell y'all this, man. It's gonna be we got to win this game, man. We got 10 games. We win this game, you have 10 days to prepare for the Rams. 10. And then after that, you know what you get? A team that you know so well because you play them every year. And then at the final game of the season, you have a team that has nothing to play for that will probably be playing for a top pick. So it's like it's set up for you, Dallas.
It's set up.
You gotta take it.
Yep. And I do want to say one more thing before we get off, bro. Just real quick.
You still out? Go ahead.
This is the month that we've always said this whole year is the most pivotal month.
Yep.
Like, we can get drunk over September. We can be high over August. We can be faded over November. But December is where we got to be sober.
Yep.
So all the things that we've been saying is that this is the month you want Dallas to get hot.
When I said 4, everybody tripped on me when I said this is a 4-game season. When I said go 4-0, you in the playoffs. Everybody like, no, because mathematically we could be 9-7. No, I don't want to go into the playoffs 9-7. No, I don't want to go into the playoffs barely winning game. No, I want to go into the playoffs hot.
This is the month you want us to get hot.
You want to be hot.
This is the things that we should be looking for with Dallas. We should be looking for the identity crisis to be solving now. We want to see, are the Dallas Cowboys adapting? That's what you want to see. You don't want to see, a Zeke team or a Dak team type of story after this game. You don't want to even hear that. You want to start hearing they are figuring out their identity. If you start hearing that, we're headed in the right direction. You want to see, are we using Zeke at the right times or are we leaning on Dak arm at the right times? Mm-hmm. If we start seeing that now, we actually go be hot. If you start seeing Jason Garrett make good pivotal decisions, we got a good chance now. You see what I'm saying? So there are certain things you got to sit back and just kind of really key your focus on. Are we adapting to the game? And is Jason Garrett making good decisions? If those two things come together in critical moments, we still got a chance to really beat anybody.
But you know why? You want to know why? Because we'll go back to being that team that everybody thought we were.
Facts.
Like, and you know the funny thing about the Dallas Cowboys is we're not even trying to be somebody else. We're just trying to get back to who we are.
Yeah. Cause see, I'm hearing some conflict stuff that's just not right. Like, cause right now people are trying to create this narrative that us being a throwing team is bad for the Dallas Cowboys. That's a lie, bro. Like we're actually more.
The best team you've seen in 2019 was led by the pass. That's a fact.
Yeah, we are actually explosive coming out with the pass, but we have to get much better at using it at the right time. Mm-hmm. That's where we're dropping the ball.
That's more important.
Say that again.
That's more important.
That's more important. Like, it's certain games, like when we got in the red zone, we shouldn't have been throwing. We should have kept pounding. And it's just different little stuff like that we want to see going into the playoffs. So it's like we still struggling to get through this identity crisis. What we want to see as fans is, are we starting to finally get through that? Are we finally starting to say, okay, did we finally figure out that if Zeke is having a bad game because they built to stop the run, to lean on that, right? Are we finally starting to see, Zeke is killing them on the ground, let's stick with that, right? If you starting to see that, what West Coast said is absolutely true. You're going to say, this is the team that we always knew they could be. If you see those two things.
Yep.
But if you continue to...
Go ahead.
If you see the opposite, though, what you really being is good enough for is like a one and done in the playoffs. December is where you should start seeing, okay, damn, where this come from? Oh, that was smart. That was good usage of Dak at the right time or Zeke at the right time. If you start seeing that, we still got a chance. And a chance even at a ring.
Any sucker. I apologize. I thought I was going to be able to make it.
Stop talking right when you...
It was good, though.
I see you, boy. But you look like you're enjoying that thing.
I say it like this, man. Cowboys, let's just play some obvious football, man.
Yeah, obvious football. Thank you, bro.
Some obvious football because, Tom Brady had hit a 3rd and 1 and a 3rd and 2 against us. You know what he did? They ran the ball on both. You know what they got? First downs on both.
Mm-hmm. Play some obvious.
Sometimes the smartest thing in the world is just do the obvious.
Damn, bro. Yep. And that's what we want to pray we see. If we see that, where that was 3rd and 1, Zeke been winning all day, feed Zeke, we gonna be fine.
Yeah.
If we see stuff like that, we gonna be all the way fine. Because if y'all didn't notice, because I definitely noticed this, and before we get off, have y'all noticed that the last 3 weeks, every analyst picked us to win on every network? Yeah, because they're looking at our talent, bro. They looking at our talent. They looked at us on New England and everybody said Dallas. They looked at us on the Bills and everybody said Dallas, right?
Yep.
Every game, all the analysts say, on paper, y'all clearly better.
That was our better team.
Yep. So like what West Coast said, we just waiting on us. That's really the biggest foe right now to the Dallas Cowboys is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. So, man, but, hey, tomorrow's game day. We already know what it is. We're going to get this thing popping. Hey, man, it's your boy West Coast. We appreciate you guys for rocking with us all night. And you guys already know, next Saturday I'll be back in Dallas at the Omni with my boy Jalen Smith. So make sure you guys come out. Tickets are $50. As long as you use my code, West Coast 25. Hey, man, let's have a good game tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It'll be game day. Never look down because stars up. Peace.
Thank you for watching West Coast. This is Antoine Woods.
Thanks for watching West Coast. Go Cowboys.
This is Ray Williams. Thank you so much for hanging out with us with Dallas Cowboys Scout.
Appreciate
My man West Coast from this buck.
Thank you for watching West Coast.
Shout out West Coast Cowboys. You know it's always love over here. Raider, Cowboy, always a Cowboy.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?